Hello and welcome to our Basic Production Annex DVD. This is going to be a pretty fun DVD that we're using to update our original Basic Production DVD from the last time that you purchased the program. What this Annex DVD is going to have in it primarily is makeup and monitor calibration. There are a few other things that we're going to have in here that are going to enrich your experience in our program, and we appreciate you buying the program. Thank you very much. The few things that are going to primarily be of most help to you are the step-by-step demonstration of applying makeup to a male model and to a female model, and also the calibration, the step-by-step calibration of a monitor on the set, and also connecting the monitor to the camera and how to calibrate it using the bars coming off of the camera itself. There's going to do a step-by-step on setting up a seamless background. We're going to see what mistakes you're going to make when you're first setting up a background and how easy it is to crumple up the background and not get it to look right. We're going to light the set so that we can do the makeup and we can actually show the step-by-step progress of the makeup application by the makeup artist. We're going to prepare all the makeup tools. We're going to meet the makeup artist and we're going to prepare all the tools that we're going to need to actually perform the makeup. That way you can kind of tell what kind of tools you're going to need, that if you want to keep a little basic makeup kit for video shoots that you're not being paid a lot of money for and you can't afford to hire a makeup artist, just to kind of apply basic makeup for your actors and see what you can kind of get away with and what the most basic essentials are. Then we're going to go ahead and actually perform the makeup, first on a male model, which is going to be pretty fast, and second on a female model, which is going to be a little bit more involved. You hire an actress, you see her in the picture, but then she shows up on the set and she has a blemish on her face that wasn't there when you first hired her. Well, what do you do in that situation? We're going to show you exactly how to do that and how to take care of it. Another neat thing that we're going to talk about is Steadicam operation. We're going to show you exactly how to set up a Steadicam flyer from start to finish. One thing that you're going to notice about this particular DVD and also the Special Lighting Situations DVD that you may have purchased is that we're going to go ahead and start using the set audio from now on. We actually narrated the program from the field. We actually mounted wireless microphones on me and the camera operator, and at certain times also we put one on the makeup artist herself so that you can hear her voice very clearly. There's a lot of noise on the set. Unfortunately, the air conditioner broke down while we were shooting all this stuff for the entire weekend. It was one of the hottest weekends in the entire year that we had here in Burbank. We had to use these things called swamp coolers, which are just really giant blower fans that have water gets sprinkled in front of the fans and it blows it into your face, kind of into the set, and it doesn't really cool down the set unless you're standing right in front of it. It just cools you down personally for a little bit. It lowers the temperature about 10 degrees right in front of it, but it doesn't lower the overall temperature 10 degrees. And those create a lot of noise. They're a lot noisier than an actual air conditioning unit. It was actually 97 degrees outside at one point, actually almost 100 degrees outside. Inside it was about 115 to 120 degrees. At one point we even bought an air conditioner to use inside just so we can stand in front of it and cool off a little bit and then get back into the set, which was extremely warm. We also asked the actors not to move around too much because it was really, really warm inside. We didn't want them to actually sweat through the makeup and actually ruin all the good work that we did earlier that day. So it was a very interesting day, a little bit of drama in there thrown together throughout the day, and hopefully you guys will enjoy yourselves, and let's go ahead and get started with the makeup. The first person that you're going to see bringing the hi-hi stand out here is going to be Mike, and he's going to be our grip slash electric for the entire day. And the person coming in on his left right there is going to be Ivan Corona, our camera operator, and also one of the presenters, going to help you understand some of the concepts in the video. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is what are these two guys doing? They're setting up a hi-hi stand. It's called a hi-hi stand because it goes up really high, and it's got roller wheels, and they put a sandbag on it to stabilize it a little bit. What Mike's doing right here, never mind the sweat stain on the arms, don't forget it's 115 degrees, is they're trying to set up the hi-hi stand so it'll support the background. They're going to put the actual arm of the hi-hi stand through the tube of the seamless background and use it as a roller. The way they're setting it up right there, if you actually apply some pressure to it on the left side, it will simply unlock itself and just fall apart and the whole background will just fall down, or if you have something heavy on it. However, if you turn it in the other direction, the more weight that you apply to it on the right side, the more it's going to tighten down on itself. As you can see right there, the more weight he applies, the more it tightens down itself. So there's no danger in that arm just unlocking and releasing its payload. The more weight we apply to it, the more it's just going to get tighter and tighter because it's going righty-tighty with the actual direction of the tightening. Okay, and let's watch Mike here try to tighten this thing as much as possible and then loosen it up a little bit. And the more weight he applies to it, the more it's just going to lock down and it's not going to release the weight.
When you're pulling on a gobo arm in order to adjust it, you obviously don't want to go too far out when you're pulling, because these are, sometimes they're made out of nickel or other thinner metals. You can very easily bend these and warp them, such as that one. Once they're warped, especially if they're rentals, you might have to pay for it, and these can be very, very expensive. So when you're adjusting, you want to make sure that you're pulling no farther out than maybe a foot or so. Obviously, you'll get a little more torque when you go out farther, but you want to make sure that you're not so far out that you have the potential to bend the arm itself.
As you can see, that arm's been pretty bent up.
You can put a counterweight here also. If we have a really heavy object, you can put a sandbag or another weight.
Even if it has so much weight actually built into the front of it, like if you have a heavy light or heavy instrument on it, you can actually counterbalance that weight by putting a very lightweight sandbag or some other type of lead weight or any kind of metal weight to counterbalance a heavy instrument and actually keep it at an even keel.
Watch your eyes. Hot points, hot points.
Thank you. Whenever you're rotating these stands around, make sure to call out hot points. You know, those points can actually injure somebody, so they call out hot points for me to back up.
Is this brand new?
Yeah. The other thing that we're going to talk about here is the seamless background that we're going to be using. This is a gray seamless background. Seamless meaning, of course, that it is not going to have any shadows in it unless we actually put in shadows ourselves. It's a seamless piece of paper. It doesn't have any corners or edges in the actual. It's not been folded. It's been rolled, so it's not going to create any shadows except for what you put onto it yourself. And you can see them tearing along the perforated edge right there, so they can unlock the seamless background and start unrolling it. And they're going to go ahead and mount it onto the high stands right there. You don't have to use a high stand. You can use C stands, or you can use a background kit. It actually made specifically to hang backgrounds that has maybe a piece of PVC piping in the center or some other type of aluminum pipe. In this case, we just chose to use the high-highs because they go up really high and they're available, and we don't need them for anything else. That allows us to use the C-stands for some other purpose, so we end up saving the C-stands for later. He went ahead and unrolled the background, then rolled it back up and turned it around.
So that we can have the top be flush. If we capture a little bit of the top, that way we don't have that line of shadow from underneath where the roll comes. Then that way too, if we place sandbags in order to anchor it, we won't have them in the frame. We'll be able to anchor and be able to hold the frame nice and flush on the ground.
That's generally a better way to do it. Even if you want to roll the background down under the actor's feet, it's still better to roll it over like that than roll it under, because then you're not creating shadows at the top of the background either, which, from the backlights or some other type of light source.
So why would you want to leave some space behind the background?
If you want to be able to hang lights for backlights or rim lights or whatever else, you want to leave a little bit of space behind your background so you can get the lights over top without them being visible in your background of your shot. It's good for, these backgrounds are typically used for anything from just regular still photography to even effects. Sometimes you'll be able to rent backgrounds with cityscapes. You can put them in the back of a window and it'll look pretty convincing.
Now notice that they actually lifted up the background right there. Notice that it's starting to unroll by itself. And so here we go. Here we're going to watch something really interesting. So this is a bad idea. They actually went ahead and brought the background down instead of just rolling up from where they're at. The reason that's a bad idea is because, as we can see, there's a nice big kink in the background right now. Technically, that background is ruined if you want to use the entire background as it is. Luckily, we were able to salvage a piece of it to use for our purposes and not lose it entirely, but technically that is a ruined background because they did not use these clamps or the clips.
Come on, Sheffield, grab this thing.
Sheffield. Actually, let's clip the top.
So clamping it essentially is going to make it so that it doesn't roll out like that, and then you lose your background.
It won't spin.
Cool.
And make sure that when you do that, that the back end of that clamp hits a piece of the high,
Raising it up.
so that the clamp doesn't just start rolling with the paper and then tears the paper itself, like that. See, that would actually just roll.
All right. So you go one loop over, one loop under.
Yep.
What is that called?
Over under.
Over under. What does that mean?
Means that the cable won't get stuck. If I want to throw it, I could throw the entire thing out and it won't get coiled.
Buckaroo.
That's not the only purpose of over and under. The main purpose of over and under is when you actually stack it and wrap it like that, it's not going to take up the coral in that particular manner, and when you unroll it, it's going to unroll straight rather than always in that particular curl. So now we're going to go ahead and do the lighting for the makeup session. This is going to be a pretty easy lighting scenario. We're just making it so that we can see the makeup exactly as it's being laid out. Here we are grabbing a stinger. The stinger can hold 20 amps generally. When you have a black stinger like that with heavy duty Hubble connectors at the ends, it'll hold 20 amps, which is a lot more than regular household current of about 15 amps. 20 amps is generally what's being used on the set with standard AC plugs. And here we are lifting one of the lights that are going to be used as a rim light and putting it on a baby stand and locking it in. And notice that we're locking it in finger tight, not hand tight. When you lock it in hand tight, you're going to break that locking mechanism. But if you lock it in finger tight, it's just enough that it's locked in solid, but it's not going to break it.
Striking. This thing is tight.
And notice that he's locking the tilt mechanism on the light, and he's going to go ahead and raise it here in just a moment. There's the tilt, locked, and he's striking the light again.
Striking. Cool, let's bring the light all the way up. Wait, let's make sure that, you always want to make sure that you start with the highest riser first as opposed to the low one, because now he can't reach. See, he risks either injuring himself or damaging the light if he attempts to adjust from a higher standpoint. So if you're going to raise higher and you have made that mistake, just simply lower the light carefully. Also, if you're working with tungsten lights, you want to make sure that before you move the light, you want to strike it first, because if the filament is hot, you're more likely to break the filament, and therefore you're going to have a lamp problem. And in a light like this, you do actually have two lamps, so you might not even know whether or not you've broken it if you're not paying attention. So you can strike one and strike the other to make sure that you have both lamps functioning. So now let's raise it up to the higher point. Great. And he locks it down and then raises the next one up. This is a 2-riser or a double riser. Sometimes you'll get a triple riser, and there's other things called Mambo combos and a lot of different names, but basically it just has basically has to do with the amount of risers you get. 2-riser versus a 3-riser. A 3-riser to be able to go up an extra 33%. So now we've sandbagged the light. Every time a light is up really high, you want to make sure that you sandbag the light. If you don't sandbag the light, then you're asking for trouble, because if you have a cord running and you have an actor coming in, if they trip on the cord, that light will come down and could potentially kill someone. So always make sure that you have sandbags on every light, but especially if you have lights that are very high up, such as this one.
And here's a sandbag coming in right there. It's going to stabilize the light so it doesn't wobble too much up there, and it doesn't have the danger if somebody hits it with their leg for it to actually fall down and hurt somebody. So now he's going to bring down the light using the secondary riser, or the bottom riser, actually turn it on, and then use the secondary riser again to lift it back up to the position.
The main key is when handling tungsten lights to be very delicate with them, and whenever you can, make sure that the light is off if it's a tungsten light. HMIs are a little different, but still, there's glass and it's heated, and the more hot that the glass and the filament get, the more likely they are to burst. So even if you're handling a light that's already been struck, you want to make sure that you're handling with care. You're not just throwing it around, because if you burst that filament, that's a lot of money, and it could actually ruin your shoot.
Okay, so here comes the riser down again, secondary riser. We're turning off the light, bringing it down. So this was just a demonstration. We're going to go ahead and use it as a rim light right now. It's not going to be in that position. We just wanted to show you guys exactly how to turn on and off lights that are being positioned high up like that. Bringing in our key light, which is going to be this RE650 going through a single layer of Chimera fabric. Chimera is really nice. It makes the light really kind of concentrated into a soft layer of silk, rather than just for instance, a simple layer of silk by itself does not harness the whole power of the light. Whereas the Chimera, because it's a soft box, it harnesses all of that wattage that's available inside the RE650, and it pushes all of that wattage straight forward into the fabric, so you get more output on the other end than if you just use the silk, for instance, not an actual softbox. You notice that silver material that we're leaving open right there, that can also be kind of covered in to add even more of that wattage of the light, because it kind of bounces the light against the silver fabric and bounces even more light through the fabric of the Chimera in the front, increasing the available wattage in the front. We're adding a sandbag right here.
Striking.
We're using a pretty simple lighting scheme for this makeup session. We're just going to use that one RE650 going through the Chimera as a key light.
So they're going to be angled this way?
Yeah,
And then the makeup person's going to be like this?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Probably not quite so much. So let's
All
get
right.
that rim light back on the other
do it.
side. So do you have enough cable there? Looks like you grew an extension there.
Yeah.
Looks like the grip went ahead and
Growing
got
cold.
a little bit of an extension there.
This is known as head wrapping the light. Making sure it's secure. If you have a big enough cord, sometimes you can double wrap it to make sure that the head, the input does not fall out. So double wrap it if you have enough. If not, just make sure it's nice and tight on there.
Notice how he's lifting that weight close to his body.
Come back like right around
Okay.
here.
Okay, cool. So right here.
Right there. Yeah.
We're using that Mole Richardson light, that soft light, as a rim light on the other side. Going to go ahead and connect it to an extension. And we
Going
already made
hot.
sure that the light was turned off before we did that. We're going to apply a sandbag weight to the light, make sure it gets stabilized, because it's a very large instrument, as you can see. It's bigger than a person, and when it's sitting on that thin baby stand, it might wobble out for some reason. If somebody hits it by accident, it'll wobble out and crash to the floor. And even if it doesn't actually hurt anybody immediately,
All
that
right,
bulb
striking.
exploding might char someone with sparks or shards of glass because it was turned on.
You want the 150 as
Yeah,
another rim?
the other rim. Yeah, please. So we're grabbing a 150 to act as a secondary rim light, so we can really see the edge of the artist as the makeup's being applied.
He's connecting the head wrap.
And here we're going to go ahead and connect an extension cable. And of course, before we connect the extension cable, what is of tantamount importance is to make sure that the light is turned off, because you don't want to surprise anybody when you connect that cable and the light just suddenly comes on.
So 0 means off.
Zero's off.
And also, you don't want the extension cord to spark in your hand. It might actually spark. It might short the circuit a little bit, as opposed to a switch, which would apply the current directly and very quickly to the light.
These are always called barn doors, left and right here. Obviously, it's relative as to how it's turned, but just basic adjustments in order to make sure that you're not spilling light into the camera. It's helpful if you're going to have a backlight to make sure that your barn doors are pretty well secured so that you don't get any lens flare. You're going to have, especially on really bright lights, you always have light leaking off from the sides and bouncing off even the black. So if you have black foil, we'll go over that later, but you can use black foil to make sure that you're allowing no light to leak off. The key to black foil is you have to make sure that the top is slit a little bit to allow ventilation. Because if you wrap it too much, this is not going to be able to get the ventilation to the light that it needs. And once it heats up too hot, then you're going to have the lamp bust. Or you could actually have wiring problems with the light, because if it gets too hot, the wires are going to melt in there, despite the fact that they're actually designed to hold very, very, very high temperature loads.
So this light is acting as our secondary rim light from the right side of the frame, and it's going to outline the shape of the actor being made up, or the model being made up. As well, it will also outline the makeup artist and allow us to see fine details in what she's doing.
I'm making sure that I'm fully flooded here so that we get the broadest field of light. So this is when it's fully spotted.
So here we are finding the spot. We're finding the exact spot of that light and making sure that we're hitting the primarily the head of the model with that spot.
And this is when it's flooded.
Can you bring it back down to eye level a little bit, so it's not so much of an angle?
And there's our general lighting scheme. Very simple. We're just using a 3-point lighting scheme at this point. You can see that's our main key fill
Striking.
light. This is going to be our rim light, and also it's going to be a key light when the camera,
Striking.
for instance, when I'm running B camera and it's back there, and I want to be able to see what the makeup artist is doing at that point. It's going to be our fill light at
Got
that
it.
point, and key light as well.
Uh-oh.
We blew a fuse. So basically, when you're shooting, this is going to happen. You're going to blow a fuse. So the most important thing is to find out where your circuit breakers are. So I don't know where those are in this place, so let's find them. For one, typically, you can't usually run more than 2,000 watts off of any one household circuit. So right now we're running AC, we're running a 650 watt light, and a fan, so that's gonna blow it out. That's definitely gonna do that. So let's find the circuit breaker.
Yup, shirt number 5.
Great. Once a fuse breaks, it will flip over to off. It'll automatically switch. So we just flip it right back. We blow a fuse, you want to make sure that you either strike the lights or unplug them. It's best to unplug them because when the light comes back on, the surge of electricity could potentially overload the light. See, this right here is a good example. This circuit is probably not the best place to go into a light here. If you're in a kitchen, which usually has its own dedicated circuitry, then you can pretty much rely on being able to power some lights out of it, but you want to make sure that the microwave is unplugged so that if an actor or someone who is not familiar with electricity doesn't use that and blow your fuse, such as if you have an HMI, you'll need to wait for the light to get back up to color temperature.
And if you're not sure whether a light is turned on or off and you're too far away from it, make sure to call out possible hot strike, because you're telling everyone that you might be turning on a light, you might be connecting a light that might actually already be turned on.
Okay, we're hot. Possible hot strike.
You see, we didn't turn the light off here. That could be a problem at times because actors are often sensitive to light. The lights want to be controlled by their controller, not by the current immediately coming into them. So you want to make sure that the light is off. Striking. You call striking, again, because actors and other crew members want to know when lights are coming on. It can startle people or it can actually hurt people's eyes. If you have a diffused light like this, it's not going to hurt as much, but if you have a very bright source, it can potentially damage someone or cause someone to startle. If someone's doing makeup on someone's eyes or whatnot, that's not a good thing. You don't want to scratch their cornea or something like that. When you're turning lights off, there are a lot of different protocols you can use, but I typically like to say repatching. Repatching, you call out repatching, then you turn it off. That way, if there's another cameraman or the director of photography, if you're a gaffer, they'll know that you're turning the light off, rather than if they're taking a light reading. If they didn't hear that, sometimes they'll be taking their light readings and they won't be paying attention. You'll turn a light off, then they'll go take their light reading, they'll set their camera, then you turn the light back on and you mess their exposure up. So you want to always make sure that people know when you're repatching lights, when you're turning lights on and off, for safety and also just for simple exposure and etiquette procedures.
Okay, now we're going to go ahead and get started with the makeup prep. This is the preparation leading to the makeup session with the male and the female models. The first thing we're going to do is learn a little bit about our makeup artist and also about all of the tools that she's bringing to the set with her. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and make the models up, first the male and then the female. By all means, you don't have to sit through all of the prep or all of the entire male and female makeup session. You can just fast forward and kind of see what the transitions are happening, and then when you see something happening that you would like to learn more about, you can stop there and learn more about it. But it has been shot live and is playing back pretty much 90% live, which means that we didn't actually edit it for content. We didn't take out anything that's tedious. We wanted people to be able to watch this makeup session and actually apply the principles that they're learning in real time on the set, and not have to go back and say, well, I wonder if I missed something in between this point and this point.
Hey, I'm Maria Guarin McAllister, and I am going to do makeup today.
All right, let's walk back over there. Is this convenient for you, this table here, or would you like us to move it closer to the set for you?
No, it's okay here.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Yeah, and red and sweaty. I am shiny. I'm so hot. I know I'm hot, but... Yeah, oh my God, I'm hot.
Let's try the other one too, because it's getting really nasty in here. I don't want all these guys sweating underneath their makeup. This is not good.
Get her hair blowing.
My hair's in so... So now I'm gonna prepare all and set up. So it's gonna be comfortable to put makeup on the actors. Here I have all my accessories for the hair. Water, tonic. This is to seal the makeup so the actor is not going to be sweating and removing the makeup. To clean the hands. Enough here. This is moisturizes. This is the cleanser. Scissors here. This is just in case that we're gonna do special effects like for bruises or cuts or stuff like that. This is for the fake eyelashes. This is like Here we have sponges. We need one for each actor.
Why would you use one for each actor?
It's just for hygienic. You have to be, you cannot be applying makeup with the same sponges because they have are gonna be contaminating each other. And for example, these also, for the mascara or for the lips, you need also one for each actor. Just the idea is being very, very clean because we are applying directly to the skin.
What are those?
Cotton.
What would you use those for?
I use them usually to clean the face before we're gonna apply makeup.
And what kind of, do you use some kind of, what do you just use, water or something to clean the face?
To clean it, it depends. If the person comes with makeup on, I have first to remove it. I have a cleanser to remove the makeup. But if it's clean already, I just use the tonic. So I'm gonna prepare the face for the makeup.
All right.
These are the forgot the name.
They look like brushes of some sort?
Brushes for the lips. And these are for the mascara. I told you we should use a different one for each actor. It's just for hygienic. I just rather have everything here handily so I don't have to be wasting my time when I'm gonna apply the makeup.
Makes a lot of sense.
And we have this other one. Here we have,
Okay.
so here we have all different kind of eyeshadows. I use different brands and different types of eyeshadow. Here we have different sponges. This is also it's in case of special effects, like for bruises, also cuts or things like that. I have fake eyelashes. They're always helpful.
When would you use those?
Usually when you're creating a character that is very sexy or you want be very focused on the eyes and the eyelashes are very small, so they always help.
All right. You're doing great, Maria. Thank you.
Yes. Let's put here. I always keep here in case that I run out of something, so I have here more of everything. This is all I need right now. I have here the eyeshadows. I have different kinds, different types, different brands, just to play with them. It depends on the character and when you're gonna use them. So for example, here I have, these are smoky, so this is when you're gonna create like smoky eyes, like for very sexy, or if you're like the character is going to a club and is gonna dance and blah blah blah, so you put like dark eyeshadow. And so if it's maybe a girl, so you use these that are like more pink and colors like that. Also you can like create with this that is sparkling and can create a different look. So that's why I want to play with different brands and types of makeup. This is just for hair, different kinds of brush. And
Why would you use so many different kinds of brushes?
it depends on the what are you gonna do. If it's, I mean, if you're gonna blow dry the hair, this is perfect for that. And if you're just gonna make a braid or something, so you use this, or actually to separate the hair. And so it depends on what you're doing. I have here the blow dryer and curlers and put this here. And the straightener. This is good to protect from the heat. You can put it here even if it's hot.
Oh, okay.
So I always use this mat, so we're not gonna burn the table and the clothes. And this is just the hairspray, so it's very important, especially for movies, because when you are working and you are like spending so much time on the set, then maybe the hair is gonna fail and all the style is gonna be messed up. Can I use that word?
Yes. You can say messed up.
Okay. So here are the blushes. Here I told you there's like hair accessories. Now I have here all the foundations. These are the concealer. Powder, very important. So I'm gonna put all these here.
That's a lot of brushes.
Yes. They are for powder and blush. And these are, each of them has a function, believe it or not. So we need them all.
All right.
These are the trimmer for the eyebrows. Put it here, so I just want to have everything in order. And we are set to start putting makeup to our actors.
Well, you know, the basic name for it, well, the jargon name for it is a pigtail. It can be called a piggy, or basically man, I just call it a pigtail. What do you call it?
Pigtail.
Yeah, I just call it a pigtail.
I call it a pigtail too.
Yeah.
I think the whole world calls it a pigtail.
Yeah, it looks a little bit like a pigtail.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And what do we use that for?
Well, you can just use this, obviously. It's similar to, you know, a power cord or a surge protector. This isn't a surge protector, but it's just used, obviously, to run multiple electrical devices off of one.
And why are we running this? For who?
This is going to be for our lovely makeup lady, so she
Thank
can
you.
Run her dryers and whatnot.
Yes,
and
all
curlers.
this.
Yeah, search.
Actually, with this is enough.
You got enough?
I mean, if I can do it directly,
Yeah,
I just don't know. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, I'd rather plug this just when I'm gonna use them.
Oh,
because
okay.
it's just for security purpose.
Sure. So we are going to go ahead and move the table closer to the filming area so we can actually see Maria applying all the makeup to our models.
I would assume yours to the right a little bit.
There is perfect.
Oh, yeah, my right, sorry.
All right,
Perfect.
there's
Thank
the
you,
makeup.
guys.
It's all right?
Thank you. Okay, now we are set.
All right.
Thank you. That's
welcome.
perfect.
First name,
Hey, nice to meet you. I
What's your
didn't
name?
introduce myself, Maria.
Maria, nice to meet you, Mike.
What are you doing there with your hand?
Just checking seeing where the intensity of the light is at its brightest, just to kind of get a general idea of where the person's head's going to be. You know, just so you can adjust it without someone being in there. But it's best to adjust it once the actor's actually in position.
Cool. Thank you. So we are moving the air conditioning units a little bit closer to accommodate the makeup and the models because it is a very hot day today. And as part of set courtesy, you're supposed to accommodate the people who are working for you.
Here is all right.
Is that a little better?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Good Lord, it is so hot in here. Unbelievable. Yeah, there you go. And maybe all the way over here to the corner. That way it won't blow all of her stuff away too. Well, she's gonna put the heater things on
She's
there.
gonna put her air conditioner, her hair dryers and stuff on there.
The heater? I don't think so.
The heater things. That's a technical term, didn't you know? So what are you doing right now?
Making a clothes rack
All right.
with a C-stand. This is how you steer it.
So as steering as opposed to crabbing, how does that, what's the difference?
Because I think steering.
Oh, okay, I see. But with crabbing, it just moves all in just one direction.
Right.
All right. Moving the quick release plate right now.
We had a coin.
So yeah, I had a great time. I went to swim with the dolphins and everything.
Oh, that's at the Hala?
Yeah.
Swimming? So what's the
You have a quarter? All right. Yeah. Oh, yes. Excellent. You know, there's like a kink in that background right behind his head. You need to lower that background a little bit more. Yeah.
I just moved it,
Oh,
so
okay, you
it's
just moved
working.
it?
It's his back and her.
Okay. Hold on. This might actually work.
I bought this float,
Need more
like floating
top load
beds,
from
like,
this.
and I put it on the ocean, and I was like getting tan, and I spent literally from 9 to 5 there, because when I was very hot, I was just putting water, so I never felt the hot. So, and I was feeling, because when you have the sun here and you try to see if you have the marks, I mean to see if you're getting tan, you don't see it because the sun is too hot. So I was like, I'm not getting tan, I'm not getting tan. So then I went to their room and I was
Yeah, that
like
works.
this color. And I didn't, I just saw my eyes. It was like black. And I'm like, oh my God. So next day I couldn't move. I was like, ugh. So the rest of the time I went like just to swim and to do all those things. I went to Pearl Harbor.
Cool.
Okay, so we have our first actor. Hey.
Hello.
Nice to meet you, Maria.
Kevin.
So I'm gonna be the makeup artist today. So Raj, tell me, what do you want in this character? Just plain makeup?
Yeah, just nice kind of natural makeup for filmmaking. We're not going for anything bizarre or too far gone. We're just going for a very nice natural makeup for this first
Okay.
scene.
So it's very important to know that, because sometimes you want, like, even if it's a man, you want something special in the character. So that the makeup plays a very, very important role in that. So right now, so it's very plain, so we're gonna play with that. Also, it's very important the format. If you're gonna shoot it in high definition, you can tell the makeup very, very close. So if it's a man, you don't want anybody to see that the man has makeup on, okay? But at this time, I'm gonna put a little bit of foundation. I'm gonna correct a little bit the dark circles, and that's it. So let's start. Okay, first I use this tonic, it's rose water, and I use this to clean the face. I'm sorry, are you okay with spraying things
Oh, yeah,
close
yeah,
to the
it's fine,
camera?
it's fine, yeah.
Okay. Even if he just took a shower, we have to do this. So we're gonna make sure there is not oil or sweat on anything, so the makeup is gonna stick. So now I take one sponge for him and one of these ones. These are for foundation, this is for powder. As I mentioned it before, we use one for each actor. So what I do is that I put the name on here, so we know that this is just for Kevin. So, Kevin. I have this brush also for the concealer. And here I have the concealer. What I do is I try to pick one color like lighter than his skin. And with that, I'm gonna correct the imperfections or the dark circles also. He doesn't have imperfections, but let's go with the dark circles. You open?
That's also foundation?
This is moisturizer. How you say it?
Moisturizer?
Yes.
Cool.
I always mix it so it's more natural.
Ivan, can you bring her a fan? One of those, I think I just brought one of those little fans over there somewhere. Can you bring her a fan so that she can, yeah, either that or that one right there, that floor standing fan. Thank you. He's bringing you a fan. I can't imagine that's comfortable over there.
So the idea for makeup for men is just to correct imperfections and take the shiny out of them, and that's it. You don't want them to look with makeup on at all. So I use this. This is makeup sealer, so it helps us stopping the perspiration, and so they don't sweat all the time. I use it before the powder, so it's not gonna be shiny. Just close your eyes. And I'm just mixing the powder here. Open. Relax and close your eyes. 1 second. You open. Mhm. And now to finish, I use this also. That's just a cream for the lips, so they are not gonna look dry, and he's not gonna look like with lipstick.
Open or closed?
Be like that close. So here I leave the sponge always ready with the powder to touch up when he's on the set. I have all his kit here, and I leave it here ready, and then we are ready for the next actor. Hello.
Hi, Maria.
Nice to meet
Nice
you.
to meet you.
So, Raj, again, what do we want for Denise?
Again, the same kind of a thing. We're just looking for a little bit of a natural look, for HD, for high definition.
Okay.
Hey, Maria, you're gonna have to do some magic on me.
Oh no, I don't think so.
I got bit by a spider, so you're gonna have to really do some cover up.
Okay, so we have that. Also, dark circles a little bit,
Yeah.
and so we have to cover that. First, we're gonna.
Some makeup on me.
Again, we can't use a lot because it's high definition, so we have to be as natural as possible.
It smells good.
Yeah.
The rose water?
Yeah.
Smells good. Is it just plain rose water?
Yeah, it's rose water.
Does it have alcohol in it?
No, look up. Usually, do you want her to be like with the hair down, or it's like kind of a professional look, or what is exactly?
The first one's going to be like a mock interview, probably. So We probably would want her with her hair up. Yeah,
Hair up.
yeah.
Okay.
We're more professional, I mean, you know, instead of more casual.
Okay.
How long have you been doing makeup?
3 years, but like full time, like 8 months.
You like it?
Really involved. You have to create a character or special effects. I like it, but when it's like for a wedding, no, I hate it.
It's too boring for you.
Yeah, I don't do that.
But it's good money, isn't it? It pays
When
bills.
you're already, I mean,
Right, when you're
stable
doing
in
it.
this, but at the beginning it's hard.
Is there one thing that made you want to do it? Was it one particular thing?
The money?
Yeah.
We have to buy an AC
No,
for
what was
tomorrow.
it?
Oh, what was it?
This is insane.
Just being in the business?
Oh yeah, like being in the business, but it hurts. It
No,
hurts.
a little bit. It's a little sensitive.
Yeah. When did she buy to? When she
Yeah, what the one day she spider.
and it's still, oh my god.
Just put tons of makeup on. It'll get better.
Okay.
I remember when I was really young, like 8, I used to go in my mom's room and just put tons of makeup on just for fun. Spend hours just doing it. That was like the art of makeup.
And you wear makeup?
Do
Usually,
I? Just cover up. I've recently been having breakouts, so like break out.
I know. So now we're mixing the foundation with the moisturizer, and that's just for being more natural. If you apply directly the foundation, it's gonna be too heavy. So the camera, especially if it's high definition, it's gonna be very, I mean, it's gonna take it very close, so it's gonna notice that it has a lot of makeup on. Okay.
I have pretty dark skin, right?
Pretty dark. It's
Dark.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Are you okay with trimming the eyebrows or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna pluck a little too.
A little bit. I'm just gonna clean a little bit the eyebrow area.
You saved me the job of doing it.
Uh-huh.
Anybody need any water or anything that we can get you? No? Okay. What is that stuff?
That's the moisturizer.
Oh, that's
You're happy making me say that word. Don't ask me anymore.
Hey, by the time this day's over, you'll know exactly how to say
What
it.
is that? Moisturizer. Moisturizer.
Got it. Yeah, they say we swallow like 100 spiders a year. Like silver spider bites my face. But it's okay. It's better than you know. You could have crawled in my mouth. I mean, isn't that scary? Think that we swallow spiders. Cheers.
Just gonna touch up a little bit the bite.
My spider bite. Sleeping in my bed.
Sleeping? Oh,
Yeah.
God.
You woke up with that?
Yeah.
I thought he might have like attacked you while you were getting your mail or something.
First, we do the sealer of the makeup, so all the foundation is gonna stay. She's not gonna be sweating all the time.
And do you ask them to breathe out when you do that, just so that it doesn't? What is that? Sealer, you said?
Yes.
And does it just lock in the makeup? Is that what it does?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
That's all.
So you're just not supposed to breathe out when you spray it. Is that what it is?
And close the eyes, of course.
And close your eyes.
Now the powder.
It smells good. You have to have really good eyesight to get the makeup even, right?
And sometimes you have to work with light that's so bad.
Really? You mean the lighting is bad?
When you apply it, it's
Oh.
different than the set. So then
Right.
you go to the set and
You
it's totally
realize-
different.
Yeah.
Now that we have the skin ready, so we can go to the eyes. So first I apply like something very natural, like for the base. Closer. And you have to be doing one eye and another one eye at the same time, so it's gonna be even. So what are you wearing for this, you know?
I'm not sure if I'm wearing like a brown. I have a brown suit, and or a eggplant dress. That's kind of businessy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
So because it's very plain makeup and because we're not sure about the color, so we're gonna do a plain color that matches with everything. This case is brown, what I'm gonna use.
Is that actually the crease shadow? You know, my creases, eye crease. Because the first one you put on, I thought that was the base, the crease, just for the crease.
Yeah, this is.
This one is.
Yes. I don't use the other,
Liner.
that sponges.
Oh.
No, never.
Natural brush for the first time.
Yeah, for everything. So you can play with the eyeshadow also to make eyes bigger or smaller or brighter or whatever. And it depends on the color also. If she has brown eyes, so you want to play with colors and don't use colors that are gonna take the shine out of the eye. Did I say that right? I'm gonna use a brighter eyeshadow here, so the eye is gonna be brighter. And also here, so it's gonna look bigger. Open. Now I clean up a little bit because sometimes with the eyeshadow you have powder here and you don't want to see that. The next step will be the eyebrows, but in this case she has very, very dark eyebrows. I wouldn't paint them, I'm just gonna brush them a little bit. Then we are going to do the eyeliner. Close your eyes. I'm gonna use first. Sorry. Open. Just close again. Sorry.
Closing.
Look up. It's very hot, so this is melting. This is so good to apply the makeup when it's hot, right?
It's
better.
good. It's better.
Yeah.
Easier.
Yeah. When it's so cold, it's like everything is.
It's hard.
Yeah.
So why is it better when it's hot?
It's better because all the, how you say, like the consistency is better. It's like I don't know how to
Softer.
explain. It's softer. That's the word. Look up again.
Are you blending in the under eye?
Yeah. Okay, now mascara. One for Denise, just for her. And this is like the foundation for the mascara. Look like my nose.
What does that do? Help the mascara stay on?
Yeah,
I never used that.
and also because I use a curliner.
Uh-huh.
So this is better. I mean, I don't want to use the curliner before after the mascara because it's gonna get dirty.
Right.
So I use this like a base, so I can use the curliner. So because if you use the curliner also without anything, you can damage your eyelashes.
Really?
Yes. You do that?
Yes. I don't even put
Is that
mascara on sometimes because my lashes are long.
Mhm.
So I just, use the eye curler, the eyelash curler,
Mhm.
and
No, use at least this one. I mean, that's to curl the eyelashes.
Thank you.
You want to do it yourself?
no, you can
Okay.
do it.
It hurts.
No. What is it?
So this is the eyelashes curliner. Open a little bit. It hurts?
No.
Some of them are not comfortable, and also with the curling. So after that, we are going to the blush. I love blush. I love it. It's very important. Yeah. So in this case, I mean, I will use, like, for example, if it's something like a child or something, I will use more pink. If it's more serious, I will use more brown. In this case, we're gonna use like the plain. Smile. I asked them to smile so I can have the mark where to start. So it's here. Careful, that's
Sorry.
And then we go to the lips. So first, I think that she has something, so. This is a lips liner, or what is it?
Lip liner.
Lip
yeah.
liner? Okay. So sometimes you use the lip liner also to correct when it's like very thin, when the lips are thin, so you can like make them bigger or make them smaller or whatever. In this case, they are like just perfect, so you don't have to do much. I always like to mix the lipsticks because there's never a color that convinces me. So I always mix them. Sorry. And I always have to keep them together with Denise Kits, so I know that's the color I use. So when I'm gonna touch up, I know what I applied. I'm just gonna clean my hands before I'll do the hair, and then after the hair we can just touch up, and that's it. So in this case the director wants something very professional, so we're just gonna pull it back. Beautiful hair. What did you do? Is this natural?
Good. Yeah.
I mean, is natural straight?
Yes.
Wow.
Taking it
Okay.
out.
But that's how the photo shoots go. They're like, hurry up, put the makeup on. Okay, now wait. We gotta
Yeah, when you're
wait a
ready.
half hour while we fix the light. Okay, hurry up, change.
The Air Force. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, and wait.
Yeah, hurry up and wait.
Do you?
What side do I put my hair on?
Yes. Do you do it side or
Yeah, I
always in
do.
the middle?
No, I always do it.
In this
Usually
side.
So here at this point, we're going to switch to a lower chair instead of the tall chair that we were using before, because when she's doing Denise's hair, it's really hard for her to reach her hair in that particular position. It's going to hurt her back, as she's showing you right there. So if we lower the chair, if we lower Denise or any model in this particular case, it's going to be a lot easier for her to actually apply the hair treatment. And also what we're going to do at this point is we're going to lower the chimera. Because we don't want the light from the chimera to cast too much of a dark shadow underneath Denise's eyes and her chin. So we're lowering it so we can see underneath her eyelids and also underneath her chin, and keep that same consistent lighting that we had before into the following phase, which is the hair portion. We're also going to move the silver stand from the background. There's a silver stand in the background. We're going to move that out of the shot. And the next thing we're going to do is going to take a critical focus to make sure we're back into focus on Denise's eyes, which is the model's eyes. And then we're ready to go.
Are you okay? Yeah. Sometimes it hurts, so just yell.
Okay. Nothing can hurt if I can.
Yeah? So you're used to.
Yeah. I'm used to it. Pull really hard. It wouldn't be hard.
Last time. That's just hairspray, so
Gotcha.
usually for movies it's long days, so we want the hair to stay. And if it hurts, it's worse. Sometimes when it's dry, it's better to work with because you can do whatever you want.
Get in there, yeah. It's not. It's sensitive, but.
What?
I keep like thinking I gotta do this because when I do my own makeup, then I know I gotta do the.
That's good. It helps.
Yeah. I'm thinking in my head, will it help her? Like, do that?
Huh?
I said, jeez.
Now we have the makeup done. She's pretty and plain makeup, so it's not gonna be very heavy for the camera. usually if the makeup artist has to leave, you have your kit here. The powder is already there, the mix, and also for you. So you can do it yourself in case that you need it, okay? Okay. Now when it's time to go home, you have to pack everything again. It's very important also to clean before you go. We have a brush cleanser, and we use this for cleaning all the brushes that we use during the day. This kills all the germs. Okay, we're ready here. Moisturizer. Have to pack all what we didn't use. So for the next time. Ziploc bags are very good. Great for this.
You guys,
Sorry.
as makeup artists, you have more tools than we do, even as filmmakers.
Yes. I like to be prepared for everything.
That's incredible.
Because sometimes if you say like, oh, I'm just gonna do plain makeup, so you don't bring, for example, this,
Right.
the fake eyelashes or
Right.
things for bruises or things like that. But if something comes up, and you know, directors are always full of ideas. So if they one day, oh no, I just wanna bruise and I just wanna be ready and help him with those things. Or help her. Okay, I am ready to go home, and it was a very, very fun shoot, okay? So bye.
Okay, what we're going to do in this section is we're going to learn how to calibrate a monitor so that the image that we're seeing on the set on this monitor is actually the image that we're shooting. Mainly when it comes to the colors that we're seeing, that the color red is actually red and not pinkish red, and that, for instance, the brightness of the image, the amount of information that we're seeing and detail that we're seeing in the shadows and in the highlights is actually true to form, and it's not actually, we're not actually shooting a darker or a lighter image than what we're actually seeing. And that way we can use the monitor, for instance, to set up our camera to make sure that we're exposed properly, even though that's not really necessarily the way to do it. You ought to be using the zebras or an oscilloscope, or for instance the input into your editing system that shows you distribution or waveform. You can also use the light meter so that you can know that you're right on. But what pretty much ends up happening on the set is everybody ends up defaulting to watching the monitor to know that they're pretty much spot on, or kind of to get an idea of where they ought to be. Bear in mind that the method that you're going to be shown on how to calibrate this particular JVC production professional monitor is going to be the exact same method that you're going to use to calibrate a professional LCD monitor made by a different manufacturer, for instance like Panasonic or Sony, as long as they have the same controls. So I'm going to let Ivan at first explain to you cabling and how to connect your camera to the monitor, and then we'll go from there.
These are RCAs. You can tell just by the coloration, the red, yellow, and white. The yellow is always used as video. The red is the right channel for audio. The white is typically the left channel. It obviously doesn't matter. You can interchange any one of them for any other type. They're conducting the same type of current, and they'll also line up according to the colors on the inputs or outputs on the camera or TV or receiver that you're going to. These are going to be component cables. These are used for high definition signals, and they're divided into red, green, and blue because they're transmitting the individual wavelengths of color. That's why you're getting more resolution out of 3 as opposed to just 1. This is conducting the entire video for RCA, which is standard definition. This is going to conduct an entire cable's worth of green, an entire cable's worth of red, an entire cable's worth of blue. So typically on the side or rear of a camera, you'll have your inputs or your outputs. This is right now we're going through components. So this is a component out.
So another input that I want to tell you about and point out in this particular camera is this combination plug right here, which is the one that leads out to a composite video cable as well as 2 audio left and right audio cables, which is this particular cable right here. That's the combo plug. That's the video end of it, the video RCA end of it. That's a composite line of about 200 lines of information. And then there's also the S-video plug, which is that particular one right there. That conducts a YC signal. It's video only, it's not audio and video. And that has about 400 lines worth of video information to it. So it's about twice the quality of composite video. By far though, if you have a monitor that can accept component input, which is the green, red, and blue cable that you're seeing here in front of you, that is by far the highest quality video that you can get into your monitor aside from digital. But as far as analog, that is the highest quality signal that you can get in there. That'll give you a maximum of 800 lines of resolution. So it goes 200 for composite, 400 for YC, and 800 for component.
So we have component to RCA right now, but we have a BNC input on the rear of our monitor. So we need to convert from RCA to BNC. So we have, these are called BNC barrels. They're the female end of the BNC cable. Same thing that you'd see on the input for a monitor that uses BNC cable. So in order to get from this to this, we need to take a few steps. The first being to connect our RCA to a BNC input. So we connect all 3 RCAs to BNC via the adapter, which is only $1 or $2 at a good place, maybe a little more. Now we connect the BNC through the slot and we twist. This guarantees the connection to be firm, and it guarantees so that you won't be able to pull it out. So we do that with all 3 of these. Insert and then twist. Insert and twist. Then we connect to our BNC monitor cables, green to green, red to red. So now we have to go with the connections. We have to find, this is green, yellow. So it says GY, go in with the green there. To in, you'll see the input and output. Blue, and then red, and twist. Double check your connections, make sure everything's good, that you have all the colors aligned correctly, and then power up your monitor to the input.
Next thing you do is power up the bars on your camera. The first step to calibrating your monitor is make sure that it's been warmed up for a little bit. Make sure no lights on the set are actually hitting your monitor. The contrast dial, set that to the middle, usually where it clicks. Now look at the plugge bars. These are the picture lineup generating equipment. On a scale of 0 to 100, 100 being pure white, 0 being pure black, this is also called the IRE scale. The plugge bar on the left is 3.5 IREs, the one in the middle is 7.5, and the one on the right is 11.5. Turn up your brightness until you can just barely see the rightmost bar. The one in the left and the middle should disappear completely into black. Now turn the contrast dial up to maximum. Turn it down until this white bar does not flare anymore. Now your monitor is adjusted for brightness and contrast. Now we can move to colors. Most professional monitors have a blue only or blue gun or screens check button. Go ahead and select that until you see a blue screen. If you don't have a blue only button, get a sheet of full CTB, which is color temperature blue, color correction gel. Hold it up to your eye and make sure you can't distinguish colors like red and yellow anymore. Our next step is to calibrate the phase and the chroma level on the monitor. Now the phase is going to control the monitor leaning to green or to magenta, whereas the chroma or chrominance level is going to control the intensity of the colors, or how much the colors go to a primary color rather than have white mixed in with it. Our primary concern is the leftmost gray bar and the rightmost blue bar, and the cyan and the magenta bars in the middle. You see those bars in the center right there? There's a line between the center, and as you change the phase, you can see that the bars in the center of the frame become uniform, and that line, that dividing line, begins to disappear. So that is the purpose of adjusting the phase on the monitors, to make sure that those two center bars are completely uniform and there's no division between the top bar and the bottom bar. The chroma level dial is usually right next to the phase dial on the monitor, so it makes it easy to jump from one to the next really easily. And as we adjust the chroma level, we're going to notice that the outer bars, the outer vertical bars on the left and the right hand side of the frame are going to change their uniformity with the bottom bars beneath them. And as they do that, you're going to see how that they become more subtle and more uniform as we adjust the chroma. But then the two center bars kind of come off of their uniformity again a little bit as we continue to change the chroma level. So after we do the chroma level, we have to go back to the phase and just do one final adjustment to make sure that the middle bars come back to being uniform again. And as you can see right here, they come back to being uniform and we have a perfectly calibrated monitor. Okay, this section is going to discuss the Steadicam Flyer prep and operation. It's going to be about 15 minutes. We're going to go through every single step by step, of actually removing the Steadicam from the bag, setting up the tripod, setting up the Steadicam on the tripod, then going ahead and adjusting the pitch, the yaw, and the speed of the Steadicam. And it's all going to happen live in front of you so you can see exactly what's going on. After that, we're going to show you some samples of Steadicam operation using different techniques. This program will not be entirely narrated. We're going to go ahead and let you listen to the set audio. Even though the audio on the set was not very good, unfortunately, because we used a camera microphone, which was a big mistake, and we didn't realize until later just how bad the noise was from the traffic nearby. So what we did is, on certain critical times when you probably can't hear the DP describing what he's doing, we went ahead and added text at the bottom of the screen to give you kind of a backup in case you can't hear him. You can always just read the text and know exactly what he's doing at that point. So what Evan's done right now is he set up the tripod to hang the entire device on, the entire Steadicam on. He set up also that T-bar at the top that allows you to hang the Steadicam arm as well as the sled. And right now he just took out the Steadicam arm and he's hanging that on that T-bar. There's a sled right there, and he's going to fold down the monitor here in just a second. And as soon as he folds down the monitor, he's going to be able to take out the battery that goes in the back of the sled. The battery also acts as a balancing mechanism. The weight of the battery has a lot to do with the balance of the sled itself. So if you were to use a heavier battery at this point instead of this Hytron 50, you would have to readjust the sled distribution weight. But right now he's got his sled balanced for that. So now he's going to go ahead and remove the camera from the tripod. We were using it earlier. He's going to remove the base plates and also the mat box, and he's going to use a different set of base plates and rod system that he's got right there, which is more acutely balanced for his Steadicam flyer rig. Next, he's going to go ahead and remove the old quick release plate that was on there for the Vinton tripod, and he's going to use the quick release plate that's designed for the Steadicam flyer. It has special features on it that allow it to be adjusted forward and back while sitting on the Steadicam so that you don't have to remove it every single time. Notice now when he locks it onto the sled right now, he's going to go ahead and lock in the quick release plate. Then he's going to push back the T-bar safety, and that's a little safety knob right there. He's going to push that back, then he'll remove the sled, and when he removes the sled, it's going to fall forward very sharply, and that's a little bit beyond the range of where you'd want to adjust it actually on the Steadicam. So he's going to go ahead and remove the camera, remove the quick release plate, and then readjust the screws so that the camera sits back a little bit more and it doesn't fall forward so sharply anymore. Now when he puts it on there, it's going to have a little bit more of that fore-aft adjustment where you can actually push it forward and back by using the Steadicam itself, but you don't have to make as much of a major adjustment. Now he's hooking up the BNC to RCA adapter, tiny little $2 adapter. That allows him to hook up the RCA cable, which is going to then hook up into the camera. It's one of those combo cables for that Sony camera. That way he can see on his screen at the bottom of the sled what the camera is seeing. So he went ahead and swapped the T-bar around so that the elbow of the sled can now go ahead and mount directly onto the T-bar, and he can make adjustments like that. So he just went ahead and took out the special Allen wrench that he has on there, and he's making an adjustment to the height of the sled. And it doesn't just change the height, it changes another aspect of the Steadicam.
Why are you lowering it?
Okay, sorry. I'm lowering it so that I can get a better speed. What speed in this particular sense means is a better ability to control the downward or forward pitch or speed in which it rises and falls.
Okay.
Which we'll test in a second, but it also just helps for the balancing purposes. This is pitch and yaw. So by moving it forward and back, it's balancing against the battery and the monitor, and by moving it side to side, it's just keeping its own weight on center. As you can tell, it's falling kind of left and forward right now.
Yeah.
So it needs to go back a little. We've added a little bubble level here that helps us to determine if we're balanced or not. The wind is not helping right here. Very slight movements at the very end get very precise.
Okay.
So that's a pretty slow move. That's pretty good. That means we're pretty close to being balanced. 1,000, 2,000. 2 seconds is about what you want on a good speed balance. It's almost impossible for me to balance it with this much wind.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm going to take this off this for now. Should be close enough to balance. And I'm going to make sure that my vest is properly set up. The vest should rest very firmly on your hip bones, like right here. but you should also feel some pressure on your shoulders. This adjustment adjusts for height of the user. Like that's too much because now it's pulling this off of my hip bones. So this is about right for me. Okay. Now the arm, which of course this is where all the money is. The bottom one you always kind of leave open because it really doesn't matter. The top one determines your angle of ascension forward and back.
Yeah.
And so I know for me, I'm 5.5 turns. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. So when I set this in here, I just tighten down this bottom one. And I should be in the right set of ascension. If you're slightly leaning back, this should balance out right in front of you.
That's cool.
There's also control for side-to-side yaw, which is right here, but it's already set. These two controls will set the angle this way for side-to-side yaw.
Okay.
And every operator has a slightly different feel for that.
Right.
When you operate a Steadicam and you pull it off, you always bring the pin in and compress the arm as you're standing up, like this. That way when you lift off, basically in balance. Now my arms are loose right now, which is why the whole system's dragging down. So these right here control the tension in the arm itself. A good starting place is to have both arms parallel, because that gives you the most amount of movement. If both arms will naturally sit parallel, then you have 15 inches down and 15 inches up. So I have this much height and that much length. So that's the most amount of travel you're going to have on the arm at any one time. I feel like I'm a little high. This is a very light touch. I'm never using more than 3 fingers here, maybe 4, but I'm hardly really moving it at all. I'm not controlling the camera in any way except to just keep it from moving. This right here controls the up and down, but you still, again, it's like a very light touch. It's just enough to keep it from going where you don't want it to go. If you notice as I walk, the Steadicam absorbs all the terrain. All Steadicam operations happen at a slight angle from your body. It takes a little while to get used to walking slight diagonal, but eventually you do. This is actually a really good practice to learn how to keep your own center of balance. It gives you an idea of exactly what's happening. The camera itself is literally floating in air on the 2 springs. So even though theoretically I kind of have to keep it from going anywhere because there's a little bit too much movement, this is pointed down now a little. So much wind here, it's hard for me to tell.
I know.
What's going on. Yes.
Wonderful boyfriend.
Thank you.
Grab a light too.
Okay.
Action. Stand by. You ready, Evan? And action.
And action. And action.
You're upside down. That's cool.